All right. So this is a PDF which I have shared multiple PDF with you. So this is like your course material. So this will be very concise. Like you can see, it is just of 3 to 4 pages only. So it is just a very concise notes on the schedules. So we covered schedule in the last classes. So you can see, like I have even underlined whatever important things you need to remember, right? So there are also some mnemonics and all these things. You can ignore them, right? All these things, but you can go through it. So this is a very concise material, right? There are also some details. So apart from the class slide which I will upload on the portal, right, in your course portal, you will also get these additional PDF. So these PDFs will have some additional information also. If you want to go in detail, you can read them, and they are very handy, right? Even if you are working, you can carry them in your phone, and you can just keep revising them, right? Even in your free time, maybe if you are in park, you can revise them. If you are taking break from your uh, uh, geology studies, you can read them, right? So that is their utility. They are very concise. So I will share more, right? These were just the samples one, right? So right. So we will begin with the classes, right? So okay. So we did cover schedule, right? Did cover till schedule 8, if you remember, if you have revised your classes. So I hope you are comfortable with schedule. Na? I also shared this mnemonic with you, uh, right? This one, the tiers of the old PM. So you know the schedule one is about territory, second one is emoluments of few dignitaries, and it is about affirmations and oath. Schedule 3. Schedule 4, very famous one, it is about allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha. Allocation of seats to the states, like state of Madhya Pradesh has how many? They have 11 seats for 11 seats for Rajya Sabha, right? There are total 250 seats in Rajya Sabha. Some are vacant, maybe 245 are filled. So these 245s are filled by various states. 11 are filled by Madhya Pradesh. How many Rajya Sabha seats are there of UP? Anyone from UP? If he or she has revised it, right? So like this is your homework. At least this is just a general awareness. Know the number of seats of Rajya Sabha from your own home states, at least. If not of all the states, but at least your home state, right? From wherever you are. So at least know the number of seats of your states which is represented in Rajya Sabha. So that is an important thing. Na? It is part of your personality. You should be knowing it. Then we discussed Schedule 5 and 6. They are about scheduled areas. They are about the administration of scheduled tribes, na, and the tribal areas where the population of tribals is more than 50%. So this was in the states other than Northeast. About 9 or 10 states are included here. And in Schedule 6 is about AMTM, right? That is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and what? It is what? It is Manipur or Mizoram?
Mizoram.
Yes, very good. So it is Mizoram. Yes, good, Aparajita. Right. Then we discussed very important. This is something which could be asked in your exam this year. So what is there in the Schedule 7? And this is also a very something which often comes in the news, right? So Schedule 7 is about federal list. There are three lists in this schedule. One is we call as union list, another one we call as the state list, and then there is a concurrent list. So, what is the significance of the Schedule 7 or these list? The significance is that Union list has all those subjects which are under the domain of Union government, the central government. State list has some subjects which are exclusively under state government, right? So, on all these subjects which are there in Union list, only central government, that is, the parliament, can make law on them. The state legislature will not make law on them. Similarly, all those subjects which are on the state list, only the state governments, right? The government of Madhya Pradesh, government of Mizoram, government of Tamil Nadu, they can make their own laws on that, right? So here the subjects are like agriculture, right? Agriculture, a very important subject. It is a part of state list, and there are plenty others. Then there is concurrent list. This is a list in which both the governments, central as well as states, they can make laws on it, right? So we will read the nitty-gritty of these in detail when we read about parliament, right? After we are finished with fundamental rights and fundamental duties, we will read about parliament. Then we will do it in more detail, right? Eight is about official languages, right? Remember these words. The polity is about words. ना it is बोलते हैं कि it is शब्दों का खेल है पूरा, right? Lawyers, they pursue law and this polity, so they play on words only. So you should not take this word very casually. Now official is an important word. It is not national, right? It is not a national language. We don't have a national language in our country, right? So we have official languages. So how many were there earlier when the constitution was made? There were 14 languages, right? Then there have been three amendments to it. Can anybody tell me what are the three amendments? Number of what are those amendments? We discuss something, na? We say like, okay, we'll come to directly schedule 8. So schedule 8 is about, there are some languages uh, which we call as official languages. So initially there were 14 languages. Today there are 22 languages in it, right? So today there are 22 languages in the 8th schedule, right? So this was the last slide we discussed in our last class. So uh, it has been amended how many times? Thrice. One was 21st Constitutional Amendment Act, then there was 71st Constitutional Amendment Act, and then there was 92nd Constitutional Amendment Act, right? So see here, there were initially 14 languages, then this Sindhi was added in 1967. So it is not important, but remember at least these. मैंने इसका आपको एक शॉर्टकट भी बताया था ना कि 21 plus 71 is equal to 92, right? So it is easy to remember. So this is a very common question asked, right? They will say you that they will tell that the 8th schedule, question will be the 8th schedule has been amended many times. Which of the following are not the amendment made to the 8th schedule, right? And option will be 21, 71, 92, 86, right? So if you remember these three, you can easily see कि this is 86 is not the one because these are, right? तो ये बहुत common सवाल है. UPSC has asked this question multiple times in various examination of it. So ये आपसे पूछ सकते हैं इस बार. तो इसको याद करने का सिंपल सा तरीका है 21 plus 71 is equal to 92. And in 21st we added Sindhi, right? Here we added three important languages, right? VKMN. So these are like Nepali is a language. You should remember it. Now sometimes we think that Nepal is a country. So Nepali might not be spoken at that level in our country. So we would think it is not an official language of India. But there are a lot of Nepalis living in our country. This language is spoken even in the northern parts of Bihar, some parts of even Uttar Pradesh, right? Even in the hilly states of Himachal and Uttarakhand, a lot of districts, in a lot of districts this language is spoken. So we have included it in our 8th schedule. Remember it. Then Manipuri, it is also known as Meeti. Meeti is a very important tribe of Manipur. So Manipuri or Meeti. Then there is Konkani. We discussed, someone of you even said that this Konkani is spoken in the areas of Goa. It is the official language of Goa and in northern Karnataka, right? Even in the southern Maharashtra, this language is widely spoken, Konkani, right? You must have heard about Konkan Railways, right? Konkan Railways. It is a like very beautiful railways that E. Sridharan, he architect various bridges in this area. So like this is part of, you are all from geology, you must be knowing that this is part of what? Konkan area is part of Western Ghats, right? So making train infrastructure there is very difficult thing. So that is why this is very famous Konkan Railways, right? So you know what is there, Sindhi, and it is 71st is KMN. Remember this. And 92 we added four more. So this Bodo Dogri SM. So you can remember from the initials only, right? So this is you should remember. So like all this you can all these you can predict. Ki Assami obviously Bengali, Marathi, Gujarati, all these will be the part of Punjabi, Udiya. All these will be part that is natural. Kashmiri, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, right? Bodo, Santali, Maithili, Dongri. You know because of this. What you need to remember is we have Sindhi as well as Sanskrit is also there. Urdu is also there, and we don't have English, right? So this is all about the official languages. Then this was a subtopic, nothing to do with the schedule, but sometimes they even ask which of the following. There will be question which of the following are are not classical languages of India, right? So this is a technical term, classical languages, right? So officially we have given classical status to only six languages till now, right? So four are the our famous Dravidian languages. One is our Sanskrit, and another one is Odia, right? So these are our classical languages. It is a factual thing, but it is also a very important fact, often asked in a lot of examination. So remember it, right? Now, like I would like to move to the ninth schedule. Ninth schedule is an important one. You should understand it. It is also a tricky one because a lot of debates, a lot of controversies keep happening on it, right? So on it. So before going to the ninth schedule, I just want to give you a brief idea about rights, right? About rights and especially fundamental rights. So see, this fundamental right is actually the biggest part of your polity syllabus, right? I don't know why, but in 2020 GSI as well as 2021 GSI, UPSC has not asked question on fundamental right, DPSP, and I think fundamental duties also. I don't know why. So this is a very big, you can say ki, this won't be repeated in 2022 on I think 20th of February when you have your exam on 19th of February. I can say that you will have some questions on fundamental rights, right? Whatever exam UPSC is asking, whether it is IAS exam, Indian Engineering Service exam, CDS, all these exams, this is the most important theme. So we will devote couple of classes, maybe three classes to fundamental rights itself, right? But due to some reason, UPSC has not asked in our GSI examination, but this trend can change and they will ask this year, right? They can ask this year. So we will do it in good detail. But before starting the ninth schedule, I just want to talk something about rights. So like, can anybody tell me what are rights? What is the meaning of right? Rights? Now we often talk in our dialogues that it is my right to do this. It is my right, right? So what is actually the meaning of right? Why? Right. So see, you can see here, rights are those essential conditions. This is a very formal definition. These are those essential conditions of social life without which no person can generalize his best self, right? So rights are nothing but these are conditions. These are situations which you should have so that you can develop your personality, right? So suppose today you need to develop your personality. What are the things you need, right? You need resources. Then you need to express yourself, right? If you want to become a group A government servant, right? Group A, group B government servant of in the government of India, right? So for that you need to make your choices, right? You should be able to make choice that no, I don't want to do work, I don't want to do this particular thing, but I want to study, I want to prepare. So this is your choice, and in our country you can make your choice, right? Maybe if you would be living in a country like maybe China, or maybe in 1980s USSR, or maybe in 1940s Germany, right? When the Hitler was the chancellor there, you didn't have all these rights. You cannot say ki I want to do farming or I want to do this particular thing. No, your work was mostly decided by the government that you will do this, right? So they don't have much rights in that government system, right? So this is a very basic definition of right. So our focus is the what are fundamental rights. right? Why this word fundamental is put before the right? Rights, we know that these are the essential conditions. These are the essential social conditions for development of oneself to realize one's best potential. So this is a technical term which is fundamental rights. So these are those rights. These are those rights which are present in our constitution under part 3. This is most important, right? Because there are various kinds of rights. There are various kinds of rights. Right. So what happened to it? Right, sorry. So like I am using it like for the first or the second time only, this specific application. It is a PDF reader, so I'm not very comfortable. So forgive me for this small glitches, right? So see, rights are of many types, right? You people, everyone like Anjali, Anshul, Aprajita, you are sitting in this class. So because you have been given right without any discrimination that you all can join this demo lecture, right? So this is a right to attend this class is given by Planet Geology to you, right? So that you can explore the course and you can realize ki whether it is important, it will help you to score better in your exam and to get a rank, right? So this is also a right. Then similarly, there are some other rights. There is a right to travel from one place to another place, right? If you are going for an offline class, you have a right to go, and nobody is going to stop you. But then there are some very specific rights which is given by none other than our constitution itself, and all those rights which are part of which are included in this part 3 of the constitution, they are known as fundamental rights, right? So like suppose this is our constitution, right? So this constitution has various part 1, part 2. How many parts are there? Last part is part 22, right? So there are some rights which are there in part 20 also. There are some rights which might be there in part 21 also, right? So these rights are known as right to, they are not known as fundamental right. Like there is a right which is under article 300A of our constitution itself, and it talks about right to property. Right to property means if somebody if someone of you want to purchase a property, then you have right to purchase it. If obviously you need to pay the taxes, stamp duties. If you follow the law, you cannot be discriminated. And if you have property, nobody, especially the government will not come and it will take away from you. That is your right, and that is given by none other than the constitution, right? But this is not part of part 3 of constitution. In part 3 there are article number 12 to 35 only. So this is included in the article number 300. So this is not the fundamental right. It is a constitutional right, but it is not a fundamental right, right? So like we will come in detail about it. Just we want to go briefly on it, right? So the first thing you need to remember about fundamental right is part 3. And actually these are something जिसके लिए we did independence, the struggle for independence, right? So like कि Britishers came to India somewhere around 600 1600 as what, as business person, and then gradually they started controlling our polity. They started making laws, right? And they started ruling us, and we became their kind of slaves, right? So this is what happened. So what was the thing, what was the difficulty in British time? Why did we wanted independence? Why did we want independence? We wanted independence because we were discriminated, right? Indians were discriminated on the basis of their color, on the basis of a lot race, right? They used to treat us as uncivilized person, right? They used to say that Indians they are of lower race than the Britishers, than the white people. So they have this white man's burden theory. आपने कभी ना किसी ने सुन रखी होगी, white man's burden theory, that it is the burden of white man to civilize the black people of Africa, of India, right? This is like there was a racial discrimination. So this is what we don't like. We didn't like that they used to discriminate us on every field. So we wanted freedom. We wanted freedom so that we could have our natural rights, our fundamental rights. So this is why there was freedom struggle, right? So first thing is you should remember this is a part of part 4, and then the second thing is you should remember what is important about fundamental right is that you will read this term. They are justiciable. They are justiciable. So like, can you guess what would be the meaning of justiciable? Like, the meaning of justiciable is related to justice, and justice is given in our country by courts. So these are the fundamental rights, right? इनको हम we will expand them, but these 6 are our fundamental right? Like right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the last one very important is right to constitutional remedies. तो like don't worry, अभी सुनने में कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आएगा कि what I said, but importance is that we have certain rights. We have this right to equality. So what is right to equality in our country? Right to equality means every citizen in our country is equal. Every citizen is equal in the eyes of law, right? Law के सामने, whether you are prime minister or you are anyone, if you are someone who live in a slum or in a city or in a tower, and like on a Ambani tower, everybody is equal in the eyes of law. Law don't discriminate anyone. This is right to equality. So it is equality before law. There will not be any discrimination on the basis of your religion. Whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Sikh, you will not be discriminated on this basis. You will not be discriminated on the basis of your race. Whether you are Mongolian, you are, which whatever race you are, or you belong to, you won't be discriminated on this basis, right? There will be equality of opportunities in public employment, right? If government is hiring someone, if government is hiring 100, I think there are more than 100 plus seats for geologists this year. So if you are hiring, there is some other positive discrimination like reservation, all these things, but you will not be discriminated on the basis of your religion, race, caste, all these things. Right? Everybody from whatever background he or she is, they are eligible for public employment, right? Then their right to equality is also against untouchability. It's so like a lot of you might not be aware of this thing, but in our society, just 50 or 70 years ago, there was this social stigma and social menace. It was a difficult challenge that some segment of our society, they were discriminated. They were thought of as untouchables, right? So it is now banned in our country. This practice is completely banned in our country. Then we have right to freedom. Like freedom is like right to freedom of speech and expression. If you want to speak something about the government, you can speak about it, right? If you want to speak your mind on any topic, you are free to tell it. Do this. There is also freedom to move across the country. You can move from, maybe if you are living in where Chhattisgarh, if you want to travel to any parts of the country, nobody is going to stop you. So this is your fundamental right. If somebody try to stop you, if these rights are violated, then what you can do is you can directly go to Supreme Court. You can directly, any citizen of this country, they can go to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will restore your rights, right? So this is the meaning of justiciable, and that is its beauty, right? If suppose I have given, planet geology has given you right to attend this class, but I, due to some whatever reason, I eject any one of you from this class, there is nothing you can do because this is a private kind of a business. But then there are certain rights. There are certain rights which the government has, constitution has guaranteed, and if the government discriminate against these, you can go in court and you will your right will be restored. So this is very basic about rights. So what I want to tell you that we are not discussing right here, we are discussing ninth schedule. So like this is a snapshot of NCRT, right? I have just copy pasted something from NCRT. So actually we have 6 fundamental rights. Our first right is right to equality. Second fundamental right is right to freedom. So there are various dimension of equality, various dimension of freedom. That then we have right against exploitation. That in our country no human being can be trafficked or can be forced for labor, right? So like you might be thinking ki why these are here, but you must have aware that in ancient time, in like few hundred years ago, the phenomena like slavery, it was widespread across the world, right? So these are things which we cannot do even in our, even in our social. If you know some idea about the rural setup, even today there are instances of forced labor. Like these are all illegal and court will restore their right. But something like that it happens ki there is this one person, he is rich and wealthy, there is this person, he is poor, so he takes loan from him, sorry, he takes loan from him, right? Loan of maybe 50,000 from him, but he is unable to pay him, he is unable to pay him back and he dies. So you know, in a large part of our country there was a system that the progenies, the child of B, like C and D are the child of B, then they will have to pay the loan. And if they until till the time they are not able to pay the loan, they are A's slave, right? A will make them do work and will not pay them anything. So this was something which was prevalent in a large part of our country. So it is also banned. Then there is about child labor. That child labor is prohibited in our country. So there is also a Child Labours Act that will also come in current affair part. We will discuss. Then we have right to religion. Very important. These part of the constitution makes our country secular, right? So it is with respect to people. Sorry, it is with respect to people, that people can follow whatever religion they want to follow or they don't want to follow, right? Then there are cultural and educational right, and then very important, right to constitutional remedies. So these are some fundamental rights which are given in our constitution, and they are very important, they are very powerful. And most important part, take away from this discussion of last 10 minutes is they are justiciable. Justiciable means if these rights are violated by the government, the individual or the citizen can go to the court. This you should remember, right? So this was the condition when our constitution was adopted in 1950. We had actually 7 fundamental rights. What? Right against exploitation, religion, educational, cultural rights, equality, right to freedoms, constitutional remedies, and this one, right to property. Right to property was part of the fundamental right, right? This is very important property in US Constitution. Right? US Constitution is based. This is one of the basic property, basic right. So in our Constitution also we had this right, but subsequently in 1978 via a amendment this was removed, right? But presently we are talking about the time of independence, right? So now you know the basic idea about the rights. So actually the ninth schedule, it is about some various states regulation, some various states acts and regulation, right? So what happens is, now let's just imagine what was our society at the time of independence. 1947 की बात कर रहे हैं कि 1947 में हमको इंडिपेंडेंस तो मिल गई थी ना, वी गॉट द इंडिपेंडेंस, बट so what was the fate of the society at that time? What was the economy of that time? Can anybody tell us what was the major economy of that time? Economic activity of that time?
Agriculture.
Yes,
Agriculture.
yes, agriculture, right? So agriculture was the prime aim. So in 1947, 1950, in that time there was no manufacturing. कुछ ज्यादा कंपनियां थी नहीं मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए. There was no IT sector, there was no much banking, ना, there was no service sector basically. So 90% or 95% of our economy was agriculture. अब after long struggle by our various leader, we did got independence. 1947 में इंडिपेंडेंस तो मिल गई, and 46 to 1950 we made our constitution. Everybody was very happy. Yeah, we got independence, right? But now see, the real condition of agriculture was what? During the British time there were systems like zamindari system, right? So you know what is a zamindar? Can anybody guess who was a zamindar? This is a Hindi word. Jameen is land. Dar is the owner. So it is the landowners, big landowners. Yes, landlords. Right? Amar is saying it is landlords. So they are big landlords. So before independence, what was happening was there. Suppose this is a village. This is another village. Right? This is another village. Another village. Right? So there are hundred pieces of land here. Right? And every piece of land is tilled. Yeah, so harvesting is done by farmer number one, here farmer number two, this is farmer number 100, right? Same was the case here. No, maybe there were 50 farmers here, there were, maybe it was a big village, there were 1,000 farmers here, there were 500 farmers, right? So they were doing their own agriculture on a small piece of land. This piece of land was very small, but as per the British system, the owner of this land was, give me a minute, as per the British system, the owner of the land was a single person, maybe a couple of person, two three persons, they are known as zamindar. So the legal owner of the whole land of this village was this one zamindar, right? Here of this 1,000 piece of land there was another zamindar. So maybe just four people, one two three four, they control all the land, they actually legally inherit all the land of the villages, right? So this was something which was prevailing at the time of independence, right? So this was something which was prevailing at the time of independence. Up, see what happens is when independence was made, right? We wanted a fair country, fair system of governance. इस तरह तो कैसे ही ग्रो कर पाता, right? And in our constitution we made various provisions like welfare, welfare of all. And India adopted a democracy. India adopted a democracy. Nah. So, but what is democracy? Democracy is a political system by the people, political system of the people, and political system for the people. Right? So this was the case. But democracy cannot be only political, it has to be also economic. Right? Everybody should have some means for their livelihood. So what was the prime minister of that time, Pandit Nehru, and the other leaders, they wanted that this this inequality in land holding, it should go away, right? If this that was the case, that 90% of the land was owned by less than 2% of the people, right? So just 10% of the land is owned by rest 98% people. So this is not a healthy scenario, right? So what they wanted is like a jamindar, if a jamindar had 1,000 acres of land, right? And other peasant has just 0.5 acres of land. So what government wanted is that government wanted to take away this one, maybe 900 acres or maybe 950 acres of land from this jamindar and distribute it into another 20 people, right? this is what government wanted to do. But like we discussed, there was right to property. Government was doing this. Government was trying to make these law. But since this is a fundamental right and this is justiciable, all these jamindars were going to court. कि भाई we have gained independence, I am also the citizen of this country, why are you forcefully taking my land, right? So actually there is history behind this land is not very fairly occupied by this zamindar. There is some connotation britishers have gave them. There was force was also involved there. So but they used to go to court, and the work of court is just to follow the constitution, and in constitution there is right to property. So these reforms, basically these reforms were not able to come to reality. So just because of this thing, there was first constitutional amendment act. तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को पहली बार दे ट्राई टू चेंज इट. So Pandit Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, he brought first constitutional amendment act, and initially there were just 8 schedule, so he added a 9th schedule in our constitution, right? And before adding the constitution, this 9th schedule to our constitution, Pandit Nehru said these things. Read this, right? You will know about the economy and society of that time. So Nehru ji said that if there is a agrarian trouble and insecurity of land tenure, nobody knows what is going to happen. So right, so whatever, like they were trying to bring a lot of reform, lot of laws, but the zamindars were going to the court. Like there were a lot of arguments and all these things in the court, and court were questioning. They were declaring the laws of the government illegal based on the constitution. So what Nehru ji did was, or what the parliament of that time did was, they made a schedule. They made a separate schedule, and they put a few laws in them. And they said that whatever laws are there in 9th schedule, they are immune. They are immune to judicial review. Right? So see, read this one. Right? So 9th schedule, this is the crux of whatever I talked. 9th schedule contains a list of laws, mostly state government laws, sometimes even central government laws, that cannot be challenged in court, right? So you understand what is judicial review? What is meaning of judicial review? Judicial review means that if parliament or maybe state legislature, now they make any law, and if somebody think that this law is unfair, it is violative of constitution, it does not follow the principles of constitution, so they can go to the court, and court will review it. Court will review the cases. Like you must be knowing that presently there are many cases about farm laws. You must be aware that there was some protest in Delhi and the nearby areas about some various farm laws brought by the central government, right? So a lot of people think that a lot of states like West Bengal, they think that these laws are not the domain of central government, because agriculture is the domain of state. We read that in Schedule 7, agriculture is the part of state list. So they went to court for judicial review. They asked the high courts in the Supreme Court, that please review this law. We think that it is not in line with our fundamental right, and it is not in line with the constitution, right? So the government tried to bypass this judicial review system. So initially it was this 9th schedule was brought to bring in reforms, mainly reforms related to land, right? Farmers or land se related hai. But subsequently what happens is that every state started to misuse it. Today in 2021 we have 282 laws. Nehru ji brought one law. After that 283 more laws have been brought by various state government and various even by the central government. So today we have 284 laws which are in 9th schedule and which are immune to judicial review, right? So this is the important fact you need to remember, that first thing is this: the 9th schedule contains a list of laws that cannot be challenged in courts, right? I hope I am like समझ में आ रहा है ना? I am not going very fast, or Hmm. You are understanding it, whatever I'm trying to teach, or am I going bit fast or what? आ रहा है ना? You are understanding, समझ में आ रहा है ना? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Right. Kuch, if you are having any issues, okay, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me, right? Okay. So this is an important fact. Ninth schedule was brought by First Amendment, right, to protect the laws from judicial scrutiny, right? So this was a case. So like I said that it is very very controversial. It is very very controversial. So why it is controversial? Because you must be knowing that any government of any country or governance of any country has three very important organs. One organ is executives. We call it executive. Executive is like those who, okay. Second organ is legislature, and third organ is judiciary. So any country, for to run any country, we make to make laws. So who make laws? Judiciary don't make laws. Narendra Modi also don't make laws. Right? The executives don't make laws. It is the legislature, the parliament, which makes laws. It is the government, Narendra Modi government, Shivraj Singh Chauhan government, right? The cabinet, they execute the law. So they are known as executive. And judiciary reviews कि whatever they are doing, legislature and executive, they are doing it in line with constitution. मन से कुछ काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, right? This is the work of judiciary, right? Wait a minute, there is a all right. So I think I might not be visible, but I might be audible, right? नहीं